Kong Duhayan wiped the sweat from his forehead and looked at the broken machine in front of him. The atmospheric processor was old, maybe 300 years old by Earth standards. But here on the Villani homeworld, 300 years was nothing. These aliens lived for thousands of years. They built things to last forever. Too bad they never learned how to fix them properly. Duhayan opened his toolbox and pulled out a scanner. He was 29 years old, a simple engineer from Busan, and somehow he had ended up on an alien planet fixing machines for creatures who looked down at humans like they were children. The Villani were tall, beautiful, and ancient. Their skin was silver like moonlight, and their eyes were purple like the evening sky. They ruled over 40 star systems and had technology that humans could only dream about. But they could not fix a broken atmospheric processor. "The human is here," a servant announced from the doorway. "He will repair the machine." Duhayan did not look up. He was used to being talked about like he was not in the room. The Villani did not mean to be rude. They just did not think about humans very much. To them, humans were new, young, unimportant. He worked quietly for an hour. The palace was beautiful, with walls made of white stone and windows that showed the purple sky outside. Everything smelled like flowers he could not name. It was peaceful here, far from the busy diplomatic building where he usually worked. "What are you doing?" Duhayan jumped and almost dropped his tool. He turned around and saw a young Villani woman standing behind him. She was tall like all her people, but she seemed younger somehow. Her silver hair fell past her shoulders, and her purple eyes were wide with curiosity. "I am fixing the machine," Duhayan said slowly. He was not sure if she understood Korean. His translator device hung around his neck, turning his words into the Villani language. "I know that," she said. "But how? What is that tool? Why did you open that panel? What is inside?" Duhayan blinked. No Villani had ever asked him questions before. They usually just waited for him to finish and then sent him away. "This is a scanner," he said, holding up the device. "It tells me what is broken. And this panel has the power core. The core is old and tired. I need to replace it." The woman stepped closer. She smelled like those strange flowers. "May I watch?" "You want to watch me work?" "Yes. I have never seen a human work before. I have never spoken to a human before either." She smiled, and it made her face look younger. "My name is Sale." Duhayan felt something strange in his chest. It was not fear. The Villani were not dangerous to humans. Not really. They were just distant. Cold. But this woman, Sale, was looking at him like he was the most interesting thing in the universe. "My name is Kang Duhayan," he said. "You can call me Duhayan." "Duhayan?" she repeated carefully. "That is a nice name." "What does it mean?" "It means path to virtue. My grandmother chose it." Sale sat down on a nearby chair. She did not seem to care that her expensive dress was getting dusty. "Tell me about your grandmother." So Duhayan talked. He talked while he worked, telling Sale about his grandmother back on Earth. He told her about Busan, about the ocean, about the fish markets, and the mountains. Sale listened to everything. She asked questions about rain and snow and seasons. The Villani homeworld had no seasons. It was always the same temperature, always the same purple sky. "Doom. Your world sounds chaotic," Sale said, "but also beautiful." "It is both," Duhayan agreed. He finished replacing the power core and closed the panel. "There, the machine is fixed." Sale stood up. She looked almost sad. "You are leaving now?" "I have to. I have other work to do. Will you come back?" Duhayan looked at her. She was a Villani noble, probably very important. He was just a human engineer. They would probably never see each other again, but she looked so lonely. His grandmother's voice echoed in his head. She always told him to be kind, especially to people who seemed sad. "If you ever need help again," Duhayan said with a small smile, "just call for me. I will come running like a good husband would." It was a joke. A silly thing his grandmother used to say to his grandfather. It meant nothing. Just a way to say he would help her if she needed it. Sale's eyes went wide. Her mouth opened slightly. The translator device around Duhayan's neck made a small beeping sound, but he did not notice. You mean that? Sail asked. Her voice was shaking. Duhan laughed. You are a nice person. I do not mind helping nice people. Sail's face changed. The sadness disappeared. In its place was something else. Something warm and bright. Then I accept, she said formally. I shall hold you to that promise, husband. Duhan laughed again. He thought she was joking too, playing along with his silly words. "'Kay, princess,' he said. I will see you around." He picked up his toolbox and walked away. He did not see the way Sail clutched her hands together. He did not see the tears forming in her eyes. He did not see the servant at the door fall to their knees in shock. He definitely did not know that in Villani culture, offering unconditional help to a royal and using the word husband was the most sacred marriage proposal possible. It was a promise that could not be broken. It was law. Duhan walked back to the diplomatic building with a smile on his face. He had met a nice alien woman today. She seemed lonely but kind. Maybe he would see her again someday. His colleague Yunhana was waiting for him at the entrance. She was a communication specialist, responsible for making sure humans and Villani understood each other. She looked stressed as usual. How was the palace? She asked. Nice, Duhan said. I fixed the machine. Met a Villani woman named Sail. She was friendly. Hana froze. Sail. You met someone named Sail? Yes. Why? Hana's face went pale. Duhan. Sail is not just some noble. She is Princess Sail, the only daughter of Empress Lyral, the ruler of the entire Villani Empire. Duhan felt his stomach drop. What? What did you say to her? Please tell me you did not say anything stupid. Duhan thought about his words. About the joke. About calling himself a husband? I might have made a small mistake, he said quietly. Hana grabbed his arm. What kind of mistake? Before Duhan could answer, a palace messenger appeared at the entrance. The messenger bowed deeply to Duhan. Not a small bow. A full bow, the kind reserved for important people. The princess requests your presence at dinner, the messenger said. She wishes to dine with her chosen. Hana's grip on Duhan's arm tightened. Her chosen? She whispered. Duhan, what did you do? Duhan did not know, but he was starting to think it was something very, very big. 3 weeks passed. Duhan's life became very strange. It started with small things. A servant would appear at the diplomatic building with a message. The princess requires the human engineer. Duhan would go to the palace and find Sail waiting for him with a broken lamp or a stuck door or a window that would not open. The problems were never real problems. Duhan could see that. A child could fix most of them. But Sail would watch him work with those big purple eyes. And she would ask him questions about Earth. And somehow ours would pass before he noticed. Tell me about the ocean again, Sail said one afternoon. They were sitting in her private garden, surrounded by silver flowers that glowed in the purple light. You said the water moves? Waves, Duhan explained. The water goes up and down, up and down. When I was young, my grandmother took me to the beach every summer. We would sit in the sand and watch the waves come in. What is sand? Tiny rocks. Millions of tiny rocks all together. It feels soft under your feet. Sail closed her eyes and tried to imagine it. Your world has so many things. Different temperatures. Moving water. Tiny rocks. Here, everything is always the same. Duhan felt sorry for her. The Villani homeworld was beautiful, but it was also boring. Nothing changed. Nothing moved. The sky was always purple. The air was always warm. Even the flowers stayed the same color all year. Maybe you can visit Earth someday, he said. Sail opened her eyes. Would you take me? If you wanted to go, sure. I could show you Busan. We could eat fish by the ocean. My grandmother makes the best fish soup, Sail smiled. It was a real smile, not the polite smile she showed to her servants. I would like that very much, husband. Duhan laughed nervously. She kept calling him that. He still thought it was a joke, something she did to tease him. Maybe it was a Villani custom he did not understand. He decided not to worry about it. The days continued to pass. Du-Hayen taught Sail how to play Ghost Stop, a card game from Korea. She was terrible at it, but she laughed every time she lost. He brought her Korean snacks from the diplomatic ship, dried seaweed, rice crackers, and chocolate. Sail had never tasted chocolate before. Her eyes went wide after the first bite. "This is the most wonderful thing I have ever eaten," she declared. "You must bring me more. It is not healthy to eat too much chocolate. I am the princess. I will eat as much chocolate as I want." Du-Hayen could not argue with that. Hana noticed the changes first. She watched Du-Hayen leave for the palace every day. Watched him come back with a smile on his face. Watched him sneak chocolate from the supply room. "You need to be careful," she warned him one evening. "You are spending too much time with the princess." "She is lonely," Du-Hayen said. "Her mother is always away. The servants treat her like glass. She just wants someone to talk to. She is calling you her husband, Du-Hayen. The whole palace knows. The servants are calling you the princess's chosen. It is just a joke." Hana grabbed his shoulders and made him look at her. "It is not a joke. I have been studying Villani culture for 5 years. When a royal accepts a marriage proposal, it becomes law. You cannot take it back." Du-Hayen felt cold. "I did not propose to her. I just said I would help her like a good husband would. It was something my grandmother always said." "The translator changed your words. In Villani, what you said was a formal marriage promise, and she accepted it." Du-Hayen sat down heavily. His legs did not feel strong anymore. "So we are married? Technically, yes. But the marriage is not complete until the Empress approves it. She has been away at war for 6 weeks. When she comes back," Hana did not finish the sentence. "She did not need to. What do I do?" Du-Hayen asked. "I do not know. Maybe you can explain it was a mistake. Maybe the Empress will understand." But Du-Hayen was not thinking about the Empress. He was thinking about Sail, about her bright smile when she won a card game, about the way she laughed when she tried Korean snacks, about how happy she looked when he called her a friend instead of a princess. She knew. She had to know that he did not understand what he was saying, but she had accepted anyway. Why? Was she trying to trap him? Was she using him for some political game? The next day, Du-Hayen went to the palace. But this time, he did not smile when he saw Sail. He sat down in her garden and looked at her seriously. "Do you know what I said to you 3 weeks ago?" he asked. "The first day we met?" Sail's smile faded. She looked down at her hands. "Yes, you knew it was a mistake. I knew you did not understand our customs. Then why did you accept?" Sail was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was small. "Because I was lonely. Because you were kind to me. Because for the first time in my life, someone talked to me like a person instead of a title." Du-Hayen felt his anger disappear. He looked at the princess, really looked at her. She was not trying to trap him. She was not playing games. She was just a lonely girl who wanted a friend. "I am sorry," Sail whispered. "I was selfish. I should have told you the truth." Du-Hayen sighed. He reached out and patted her hand gently. "It is okay. I understand being lonely, you do. I am a human on an alien world. Everyone looks at me like I am strange. No one talks to me except for work. You are the first person who asked me about my life." Sail looked up. Her purple eyes were wet with tears. "What will we do when my mother returns?" "I do not know. But we will figure it out together." Sail smiled through her tears. "Together? That is what friends do." That evening, Du-Hayen returned to the diplomatic building. Captain Beek Shu-woo was waiting for him. The captain was the leader of the human mission, a tall man with tired eyes and gray hair. He looked more tired than usual. "I received a message from the palace," the captain said. "The Empress is returning tomorrow." Du-Hayen felt his heart stop. She has heard rumors about her daughter and a human. She is not happy. "Captain, I can explain. Save your explanations for the Empress." The captain put a hand on Du-Hayen's shoulder. "I hope you have a good one. The last human who made her angry is still floating somewhere in space." Duhayan swallowed hard. Tomorrow was going to be a very difficult day, Empress. Lyral was the most powerful being in 40 star systems. She had ruled the Villani Empire for over 2,000 years. She had fought in 100 wars and won them all. Enemies spoke her name in whispers. Alice bowed when she entered her room. She was also a mother. And today, she was coming home to see her daughter. The Imperial ship landed in the palace courtyard just as the sun began to set. The purple sky turned darker and the silver flowers closed their petals. Servants lined up in perfect rows, their heads bowed. Soldiers stood at attention, their weapons gleaming. Empress Lyral stepped off the ship. She was taller than any other Villani, nearly 8 feet in height. Her silver skin was marked with old battle scars. Her purple eyes were cold and sharp like knives. She wore black armor covered in symbols of her victories. "Where is my daughter?" she asked. Her voice was deep and commanding. "In the garden, Your Majesty," a servant replied. The Empress walked through the palace. She had been away for 6 weeks, fighting rebels at the border of the Empire. It was a successful campaign. The rebels were destroyed. Peace was restored. She was tired but satisfied. She wanted to see Sail. She wanted to hold her daughter and tell her stories about the battle. She wanted to eat dinner together and hear about what Sail had been doing while she was away. The Empress reached the garden entrance. She heard something strange. Laughter. Sail was laughing. The Empress stopped. She could not remember the last time she heard her daughter laugh like that. It was a real laugh full of joy. She stepped through the doorway and froze. Sail was sitting on the grass with a human. A small, brown-skinned human male in simple clothing. They were playing some kind of card game. Sail was laughing because she had lost again. The human was teaching her how to shuffle the cards properly. Their hands were almost touching. Sail looked up and saw the Empress. Her face brightened with happiness. She jumped to her feet and ran to embrace her mother. "You have returned. I missed you so much." The Empress hugged her daughter, but her eyes never left the human. He had stood up too, and he was bowing awkwardly. His face was pale. "Who is this?" the Empress asked quietly. Sail pulled back with a smile. "Mother, this is Duhayan. He is a human engineer. He fixed the atmospheric processor last month, and we became friends." She paused, and her smile grew bigger. "He is my husband." The world stopped. The Empress felt something cold spread through her chest. It was not anger, not yet. It was disbelief. Surely she had heard wrong. Surely her translator was broken. "What did you say?" "He is my husband," Sail repeated happily. "He proposed to me on the first day we met. He said he would come running whenever I needed him, like a good husband would. I accepted, of course." The coldness in the Empress's chest turned to fire. She looked at the human. He was shaking now. Good. He should be afraid. "Why does my daughter call you husband, human?" The Empress's voice was so loud that the stone walls trembled. Birds flew away from the garden in fear. Servants dropped to their knees. Duhayan opened his mouth, but no sound came out. "Answer me." "Your Majesty, please," Duhayan finally managed to speak. His voice was weak. "It was a misunderstanding." "I did not know you did not know?" The Empress stepped forward. She was twice his height. Her shadow covered him completely. "You did not know that speaking those words to a princess makes them law? You did not know that accepting a royal proposal cannot be undone?" "I truly did not know. In my language, in my culture, those words are just a joke. A way to say I would help her. I never meant silence." The Empress raised her hand. 2 soldiers appeared from the shadows and grabbed Duhayan's arms. "Another no?" Sail cried. "He is telling the truth. He did not understand." "Then he is a fool," the Empress said coldly. "And fools who touch royal blood must pay with their own. I will not let you hurt him." Sail stood between her mother and Duhayan. Her small body was shaking, but she did not move. The Empress stared at her daughter. "You would protect this human? He is my friend. He is kind to me. He talks to me like I am a real person, not just a princess. No one has ever done that before." Tears ran down Sail's face. "You are always away. The servants only bow and obey. But Duhayan, he sees me. The real me." Something flickered in the Empress's eyes. For a moment, she looked almost sad. "Take the human to the prison," she ordered the soldiers. "He will stay there until I decide what to do with him." "Mother." "Enough, Sail." The Empress's voice was firm, but not cruel. "I am not going to kill him tonight, but I will not ignore what he has done. There must be a trial. There must be justice." The soldiers dragged Duhayan away. He did not fight. He was too shocked to do anything. Sail watched him go, her heart breaking. An hour later, Captain Beak Shuhu stood in the palace throne room. He was surrounded by Villani nobles, all of them staring at him with disgust. The Empress sat on her throne, cold and magnificent. "Your engineer has committed a serious crime," the Empress said. "He has made a false marriage proposal to my daughter. In our law, this is equal to attacking the royal family, Your Majesty. I am certain this was a cultural misunderstanding," the captain said carefully. "Humans use expressions that do not translate well. If you would allow us to explain." A Villani noble stepped forward. He was old and thin, with clever eyes. His name was High Advisor Maureen, and he had always hated humans. The human deceived the princess. He made promises he did not intend to keep. This is not a misunderstanding. This is a betrayal. The nobles murmured in agreement. "I am giving you 3 days," the Empress said. 3 days to prove that this human did not intentionally deceive my daughter. If you fail, he will be executed. And the treaty between humans and Villani will be ended. Captain Beak felt cold sweat run down his back. The treaty had taken 10 years to build. It protected human ships in Villani space. It allowed trade and communication. Without it, humans would be enemies of the most powerful empire in the galaxy. "We will prove his innocence," the captain said. "For your sake, I hope so." The Empress stood up. Her shadow fell over the entire room. 3 days, human. Do not waste them." She walked out of the throne room. Her footsteps echoed like thunder. Captain Beak looked at Hana, who was standing beside him. "Can we do this?" he asked quietly. Hana's face was pale, but her eyes were determined. "We have to. Duhayan's life depends on it. The future of humanity depends on it." She was already thinking about the evidence they would need. Translation records. Cultural databases. Anything that could prove humans spoke carelessly, not cruelly. 3 days was not much time. They would have to work fast. The prison cell was cold and dark. Duhayan sat on the stone floor with his back against the wall. He had been here for 2 days now. The guards brought him food and water, but no one spoke to him. He had a lot of time to think. He thought about his grandmother. Back on Earth, she was probably drinking tea right now. Looking out at the ocean she loved so much, she had no idea her grandson was in an alien prison waiting to be executed for saying the wrong words. He thought about Sail. Was she okay? Was she crying? He hoped she was not blaming herself. None of this was her fault. She was just lonely, and he had been careless. He thought about the words he had said. Such simple words. Words his grandmother used every day. "If you need me, I will come running like a good husband would." On Earth, those words meant nothing. Just a friendly promise. But here, on this alien world, they meant everything. The cell door opened with a loud sound. Duhayan looked up. He expected to see a guard. Instead, he saw Sail. She was wearing a simple gray dress, not her usual royal clothing. Her silver hair was messy, and her purple eyes were red from crying. She looked small and fragile, not like a princess at all. "How did you get in here?" Duhayan asked. "I am the princess. The guards cannot stop me." Sail walked into the cell and sat down on the floor beside him. "I had to see you. I had to tell you something. Are you okay?" Sail laughed, but it was a sad laugh. "You are the one in prison, and you ask if I am okay. Old habit. My grandmother always said to worry about others first." Sail was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke, her voice barely a whisper. I knew. Du Haiyan frowned. You knew what? I knew you did not understand what you were saying. When you called yourself my husband that first day, I saw the confusion on your face. I saw how you laughed afterward. I knew it was not a real proposal for you. She looked down at her hands. But I accepted anyway. Why? Because I was selfish. Tears fell from her eyes. I was so lonely, Du Haiyan. My mother is always away, fighting wars and making deals. The servants treat me like glass, afraid to speak to me normally. The nobles see me as a tool, someone to marry off for political power. No one sees me as a person. She wiped her eyes with her sleeve. And then you came. You talked to me like I was normal. You asked about my thoughts, my feelings. You taught me games and brought me chocolate and told me stories about Earth for the first time in my life. I felt like someone cared about me. Not the princess. Me. Du Haiyan felt a pain in his chest. Not anger. Something softer. Falcon, I should have told you the truth. Sale continued. I should have explained what your words meant. But I was afraid. I was afraid that if I told you, you would go away. I would lose the only friend I ever had. She looked up at him with wet eyes. I am sorry. I am so sorry. This is all my fault. If you are executed, I will never forgive myself. Du Haiyan did not say anything for a long moment. He thought about being angry. He had every right to be angry. She had trapped him, even if she did not mean to. But looking at her now, crying on the cold prison floor, he could not find any anger in his heart. You could have just asked me to stay, he said softly. Sale blinked. What? If you wanted a friend, you could have just asked? You did not need a marriage. You did not need tricks. You just had to ask. I did not know how. No one has ever wanted to be my friend before. Du Haiyan reached out and put his hand on her shoulder. It was a simple touch, gentle and warm. I would have said yes, he told her. You are kind, curious, and brave. You laugh at my bad jokes, and you try to learn card games even though you are terrible at them. You are a good person, Sale. Anyone would be lucky to be your friend. Sale stared at him. More tears fell, but she was smiling now. You're strange, she whispered. You are about to die because of me, and you are still being kind. My grandmother says kindness is free. Might as well give it away. Sale laughed, a real laugh this time. I like your grandmother. She would like you too. They sat together in silence for a while. The cold cell did not feel so cold anymore. Finally, Sale stood up. The trial is tomorrow. Your friends are working hard to save you. The communication officer, Hannah, she has found many records about human language. She will present them to my mother. Will it be enough? I do not know. But I will speak for you too. I will tell my mother the truth. I will tell her that I knew you did not understand, and I accepted anyway. Maybe she will blame me instead of you. Du Haiyan shook his head. No, I do not want you to get in trouble. It is my responsibility. I caused this. I must fix it. Sale, please. She looked at him with determined eyes. Let me do this. Let me be brave for once. Du Haiyan sighed. He wanted to argue, but he could see her mind was made up. She was stubborn, just like him. Okay, he said. But be careful. Sale nodded. She walked to the cell door, then stopped and looked back. Du Haiyan, if we survive this, will you still be my friend? I thought we were past being friends, he said with a small smile. According to your law, we are married. Sale's face turned slightly pink. Du Haiyan did not know Villani could blush. Good night, husband, she said softly. Good night, wife. She left, and the cell was dark again. But Du Haiyan felt warmer than before. Tomorrow would decide everything. He might live, or he might die. But at least he knew one thing for certain. He had made a real friend on this alien world. A friend who cared about him. A friend who was willing to fight for him. Whatever happened tomorrow, that was enough. He closed his eyes and tried to sleep. In the diplomatic building, Hana was still awake. Papers covered her desk. Translation records, cultural studies, linguistic analyses. everything she could find about human expressions and their meanings. Captain Beak sat across from her, drinking cold coffee. "Is it enough?" he asked. "I do not know," Hana admitted. "The evidence shows that humans use exaggerated language casually. But High Advisor Morin is clever. He will twist our words, then we need something more." Hana nodded. She looked at the clock. 6 hours until the trial. "We need Du Heian to speak for himself," she said. "He needs to explain what it means to be human. How we love. How we promise. How we live. Can he do that?" Hana thought about the young engineer from Busan, the kind fool who made jokes and gave away chocolate and somehow won the heart of an alien princess. "If anyone can," she said, "it is him." The sun began to rise. The purple sky turned lighter. The trial would begin soon. The throne room was full. Every noble in the palace had come to watch the trial. They sat in rows of silver chairs, whispering to each other. Their purple eyes were fixed on the center of the room, where Du Heian stood alone. He was wearing clean clothes that Hana had brought him. His hair was combed, his face was calm, even though his heart was beating like a drum. Empress Lyrel sat on her throne above everyone else. Her face was stone. Her eyes were cold. Beside her sat High Advisor Morin, his thin lips curved into a small smile. Captain Beak and Hana stood to the left. Sail stood to the right, her hands clasped together, her eyes never leaving Du Heian. "We are here to judge the human Kong Du Heian," the Empress announced. Her voice filled the room like thunder. "He is accused of making a false marriage proposal to Princess Sail. If found guilty, he will be executed, and the treaty between humans and Villani will end." The nobles murmured. Some looked excited. Others looked worried. "Humans may speak first," the Empress said. Ha-Na stepped forward. She held a small device in her hands. "Your Majesty, I have spent 3 days studying human language and Villani translations. I have found clear evidence that Du Heian's words were mistranslated." Ash! She pressed a button on the device. A recording played. It was Du Heian's voice from that first day. "I will come running like a good husband would." In Korean, these words are a common expression, Hana explained. Humans use the word husband or wife casually all the time. It is a way to say someone is reliable and caring. It does not mean actual marriage. She showed more evidence. Old Korean dramas where characters said similar things. Academic papers about human expressions. Testimonies from other human diplomats. Du Heian did not know he was making a legal proposal, Hana concluded. He was speaking the way humans always speak. With warmth, with exaggeration, with heart. The Empress listened, without expression. When Hana finished, she turned to High Advisor Morin. "What do you say to this?" Morin stood up slowly. His movements were elegant like a snake. "The human argument is interesting," he said smoothly, "but it proves nothing good. They admit that humans speak carelessly. They admit that humans make promises they do not intend to keep." He walked toward the center of the room, toward Du Heian. "What kind of people say husband and wife without meaning it? What kind of people promise eternal loyalty as a joke?" He turned to face the nobles. "If humans cannot be trusted with their words, how can they be trusted as allies? How can we make treaties with people who lie so easily?" The nobles murmured in agreement. Even some who supported humans looked uncertain. Du Heian felt his hope fading. Morin was clever. He had turned Hana's evidence into a weapon. The Empress raised her hand for silence. "Does the accused wish to speak?" Everyone looked at Du Heian. Hana gave him a small nod. Sail's eyes were full of hope and fear. Du Heian took a deep breath. He thought about his grandmother. He thought about Earth. He thought about everything that made humans who they were. Then he spoke. "Your Majesty, the advisor is right. Humans speak carelessly. We exaggerate. We make big promises about small things. We say I love you after knowing someone for a week. We say, I would die for you to friends and family. We say forever, even though we know forever does not exist." The room was silent. Everyone was listening. "We do this because our lives are short. Humans live for 70, maybe 80 years. That is nothing to you. The Villani live for thousands of years. You have time to be careful with every word. You have time to think before you speak. Duhayan looked directly at the Empress. We do not have that time. Our lives are like candles. They burn bright but go out quickly. So we love loudly. We laugh freely. We make big promises because we want to fill our short lives with as much meaning as possible. He paused, feeling the weight of every eye on him. I did not lie to Princess Sail. When I said I would come running like a husband, I meant it. I did come running whenever she called. I did listen when she spoke. I did treat her like a person, not a title. In every way that mattered, I kept my promise. Sail's eyes filled with tears. She smiled at him through them. The only thing I did not know was that my words would become law, and for that, I am sorry. But I am not sorry for being human. I am not sorry for speaking with my heart instead of my head. That is who we are. That is what makes us human. He bowed his head. If you must punish someone for that, punish me. But do not punish all of humanity. Do not end the treaty because one foolish engineer from Busan said the wrong words in the right way. Silence filled the throne room. No one spoke. No one moved. The Empress stood up. She walked down from her throne, her footsteps echoing on the stone floor. She stopped in front of Duhayan. She was twice his height. Her shadow covered him completely. You speak well for someone about to die, she said quietly. I learned from my grandmother. She always said to speak the truth, especially when you are afraid. Something changed in the Empress's eyes. A flicker of something almost like respect. She turned to her daughter. Sail, do you believe this human's words? Sail stepped forward. Yes, mother. With all my heart. And you knew he did not understand our customs? Sail lowered her head. Yes, I knew. I was selfish. I wanted to keep him because he made me feel less alone. The Empress was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was softer. I have been a poor mother. I left you alone too often. I thought the Empire needed me more than you did. She touched Sail's cheek gently. I was wrong. Sail's tears fell freely now. The Empress turned back to Duhayan. Human, you have shown more honor than many of my own nobles. You spoke the truth, even when lies might have saved you. You protected my daughter's heart even when she trapped yours. She paused. I cannot punish someone for being kind. I cannot punish someone for speaking with too much love instead of too little. Duhayan felt his legs go weak. You are free. The trial is over. The nobles gasped. High Advisor Marine looked furious, but he said nothing. Captain Beak let out a breath he had been holding for 3 days. Hana almost collapsed with relief. However, the Empress continued, the marriage proposal was accepted. According to our law, that cannot be undone.
Ow.
She looked at Sail, then at Duhayan. You will remain on the Villani homeworld as diplomatic liaison to the royal household. You will continue to be my daughter's companion, officially. Mother, Sail protested. You cannot force him. I am not forcing anyone. The Empress smiled slightly. I am giving you both time to figure things out. Properly this time. Duhayan looked at Sail. She looked back at him. Her face was red. His was probably red too. I can live with that, he said quietly. Sail smiled. 1 year later, a new treaty was signed between humans and the Villani Empire. It had a special section about cultural misunderstandings, translation errors, and accidental marriage proposals. Hannah still shook her head at Duhayan every day. You are going to cause another incident, she would say. Probably Duhayan would agree, but he did not mind. He had a friend who called him husband. He had a home on an alien world. He had chocolate to share and card games to play and stories to tell, and sometimes, on quiet evenings, he would teach Sail about the ocean, about waves and sand and fish soup, about short human lives filled with too much love, and Sail would listen with bright purple eyes, dreaming of someday seeing it all for herself. Together,